ashver.com.
Hello and welcome to ashver.com. You are watching an interesting video on smart children who talk late, characteristics of smart late talking children and their families.
Please read the disclaimer carefully.
Recently I came across the book titled, The Einstein Syndrome, Bright Children Who Talk Late by SubWhale. I was immediately interested in reading this book because out of my 3 boys, 2 have been late talkers. As a child development researcher, I have observed extremely intelligent children who talk late and wondered where these children fit into the current literature that suggests children who talk late tend to have greater difficulty learning to read, socialization with peers, and navigating the school system. Development researchers, like Hart and Risley, have found that the amount mothers directly talk to their children positively relate to their children's vocabulary growth. Furthermore, other researchers, including Barbara Alexander Pan, Judith Singer, and Catherine Snow, attempted to discover how the children's language is affected by their environment. What they discovered was the quality of words the mothers used when talking with their children contributed to faster vocabulary growth in toddler. In the book, The Einstein Syndrome, SubWhale follows 2 groups, one with 46 children and one with 239 children, of intelligent late-talking children. He refers to late-talking children who are exceptionally bright as children who fit into what he calls the Einstein Syndrome, because these children have characteristics and experiences similar to what has been written about Albert Einstein. According to SubWhale, talking late is not the most difficult aspect of raising bright talking children. He says, the most challenging part parents of late talking children face is the onslaught of questions, comments, and advice from teachers, relatives, neighbors, and friends. SubWhale describes how parents of bright late talking children often feel a sense of guilt and responsibility for why their child is not talking like his or her peers. The pressure these parents feel from those around them may result in the child being diagnosed with a learning disability. The burden of discovering what is behind a child's late talking often falls on the mother. I myself have experienced this type of pressure, guilt, and blame when both of my older sons exhibited speech delays. I remember feeling confused about their inability and lack of desire to communicate with others. Although I read to my children daily, and talk to them often, I felt their language delays were in some way my fault. I am familiar with the research conducted by Hart and Risley and other researchers who have found mothers who engage in quality talk, frequent storytelling, and daily reading to their children, help strengthen their children's vocabulary, communication, and reading skills. Despite my attempts at doing these things, my older 2 boys talked late. SubWhale says when there is not an identifiable condition like autism or other spectrum disorder, there are several different reasons intelligent children talk late, which include hearing problems, physical problems with their tongue or soft or hard palate, deafness. When all possible emotional, mental, and physical problems for speech delay are ruled out, the child may be experiencing the Einstein Syndrome. As a parent of a late-talking child, don't be surprised when friends, neighbors, teachers, and relatives pressure you to get your child the help they need, even when all potential physical and emotional disorders have been ruled out by a qualified physician. In addition, since late-talking children are a rare occurrence, parents of bright late-talking children don't often have anyone they can turn to who has experienced a similar situation. There are websites and seminars throughout the United States where parents of children with the Einstein Syndrome can share their fears, ideas, experiences, and receive support. One group is called Natural Late Talkers, where parents of late-talking children, without language disorders, can receive support from other parents going through similar situations. According to SubWhale, parents in both study groups reported that being able to share their experiences with others who understand their trepidations, frustrations, and successes was a key factor in helping them cope. Speech delay. the majority of children in both study groups fail to use more than one word until 3.5 years. In fact, most children in this study spoke their first sentence at 4 years of age. Additionally, when these children finally started to speak in sentences, they demonstrated a unique approach to talking. For example, some started speaking words and practicing slowly, others made rapid progressions, while others were difficult to understand when they first started speaking. Uncommon family characteristics. Another finding was that many bright late-talking children have parents who are extremely analytical. For example, the majority of late-talking children's parents or close relatives, in this study, worked as a mathematician, scientist, or engineers. Another common finding was that at least 26% of these late-talking children had parents who had a postgraduate degree. Gender differences. There were great differences found in gender and late-talking. Boys in the two study groups were 85% more likely to be bright late talkers than girls. High analytic skills. The children in both study groups demonstrated high analytical abilities. With ease they solved difficult puzzles as toddlers and enjoyed engaging in activities that required numbering, pattern determination, and cause and effect skills. Exceptional memory skills. Many of the parents of the two study groups reported their children as having a type of photographic memory. Precocious abilities. The children in the two groups were overwhelmingly reported to effectively use the computer and/or play an instrument with little guidance as a toddler or preschooler. Delay in social development. Bright late-talking children were reported to have difficulty engaging in social relationships with their peers. They were also overwhelmingly reported by their parents to be delayed in toilet training. In fact, the median age of toilet training was 3.5-4.1/2 years in both groups. Extremely strong-willed. The parents in both groups consistently described their children as being extremely strong-willed, often having obsessive interest, abnormal sensitivities, and extreme reactions, similar to children with high IQs. Parents describe these children as marching to the beat of a different drummer. SubWhale does not recommend that all bright late-talking children receive speech therapy. Instead, he says that it is important that the child's speech is encouraged when the child begins to demonstrate readiness. Experts in speech development and brain research like Professor Steven Pinker at MIT, state that the brain has a capacity to learn a primary language until age 6. After age 6, it becomes extremely difficult for the child's brain to understand and learn language. In other words, there is a longer time span for learning a second language than there is for learning a primary language. A long-term research study over 1,245 children who were identified as late talkers at age 2 were looked at until age 17. According to the lead researcher Andrew J. O. Whitehouse, the results of the study suggest that late-talking children have no more emotional or behavioral problems than those children who talk earlier. So if you're a parent of a naturally late-talking child, you are not alone. Although the research in the area of natural late-talking is new and the long-term consequences of being a bright late child are relatively unknown, we do know that bright children who talk late have unique paths of acquiring speech and language. If you are the parent of a late-talking child, patience, understand, and knowledge are important factors that you will need to help you positively deal with the situation. It is important to refrain from self-diagnosing your child because your child could have a medical factor contributing to his or her language delay.
Thank you for watching this interesting and informative video. This channel offers motivational, inspirational, valuable and informative videos to soothe, cleanse and inspire your health, mind, body and spirit. You can find a lot of interesting videos on a wide range of topics here. Stay tuned and keep watching.